I'm Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides, and today from the Royal Caribbean Symphony of the Seas, we're going to be talking about Jamie's Italian restaurant. Here we are again. It's time for another video from the Symphony of the Seas, and it's also time for the return of this shirt, which I know a lot of you love to hate, but hey, I really don't wear it that often, and I kind of like it. If you are new to cruising, let me just give you a really short explanation of how the dining works on most cruise ships, and definitely on all Royal Caribbean cruise ships. There are restaurants that are, we say, included in the price of the cruise. Some people say free, but you know, you pay for the cruise and then you don't pay any extra for the restaurants. On Royal Caribbean, they're usually the Windjammer marketplace, which is the buffet, and then the main dining room, which is like a restaurant atmosphere that is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where you order from a menu and a waiter or waitress, a wait person, brings the food to your table. Depending on the class of ship from Royal Caribbean, or depending on whatever ship it is on other cruise lines, there are other restaurants that are also included in the price of the cruise, but then there are always also upcharge or specialty restaurants. These are restaurants where you can also go to eat, but where you will be paying an extra charge on top of what you paid to be on the cruise. And the restaurant that we're talking about in this video is one of those. It's an upcharge, a specialty restaurant on the Symphony of the Seas. In fact, I think that this brand of restaurant is on a lot of Royal Caribbean ships nowadays, if not all of them, because when we were on the Wonder of the Seas couple months ago, this restaurant was also there, and I remember from my cruise on the Anthem of the Seas several years ago that Jamie's Italian was also on that ship. So we went to Jamie's today, and I'm going to show you all the food inside. Let me just remind you that we've been on this ship for about a week now, and we still have 5 more days. We are crossing from Florida over to Spain. There's going to be so many videos coming from this trip, including tours of gigantic suites. You'll see me chat with Chris Wong Vlogs, who I think a lot of you know as well. And I'll also be talking about some annoying things I've run into on this 12-day cruise. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, just make sure you're subscribed down there, because you will get an update then when the next video goes online. All right, here on the Oasis class of ships from Royal Caribbean, these ships are divided into what they call neighborhoods, and in the Central Park neighborhood of the Symphony of the Seas, also the Wonder of the Seas, that is where you will find Jamie's Italian restaurant. It's open for lunch and dinner, and the pricing is a little bit different for both. I recommend going there for lunch just because it's considerably less expensive, but you get the same great food. So these are the prices for lunch and dinner on this cruise. Just make sure you check those prices before you reserve on your cruise, because I think they might go up and down. I don't know when. This price includes basically trying anything you want on the menu. Of course, as always on cruise ships, the drinks are not included. So if you're gonna have a glass of wine or a beer or something other than just tap water, unless you have a drink package or some high status in the Crown and Anchor Club, you're gonna be paying for your drinks. The restaurant does have indoor and outdoor seating, and I say it's outdoor because you are still inside the cruise ship, but above is the actual sky. That is one of the things that makes this class of ship from Royal Caribbean so special, is that the Central Park neighborhood and the Boardwalk neighborhood are surrounded by cruise ship, but they are still open to the sky. For our starters, our first course, we split the truffle arancini, which are like crunchy fried rice balls basically, the tomato bruschetta, and the crispy squid, and we found them all to be very tasty. In fact, I think I would have been happy just ordering those things over and over until I was full. Definitely would have led to heartburn, but
sometimes that's just the price you gotta pay.
We did, however, elect to order a second course. I ordered the vodka penna arrabbiata, and Marcus got the, I think it was called creamy prawn linguine. And we also split one of the rocket side salads from the list down at the bottom of the menu. I didn't try Marcus's pasta. I don't eat fish, but he said it was very well prepared. The flavors were very delicate. It wasn't like super rich or spicy in any way, but it had a nice rounded flavor, and he said that the quality of the shrimp especially were very excellent. The rocket salad is really just rocket lettuce or arugula with some vinaigrette on top of it and a little bit of shaved Parmesan, and like, that's it. I guess I wouldn't call this a salad. It was like just rocket lettuce. You know, for me, a salad needs to have at least some diced tomatoes and maybe some olives in it or something. That's not me complaining. I'm not complaining. It still tasted good. It just seemed weird to me that something was called a salad, but then it was just like one ingredient. My vodka penna arrabbiata was so good. When I ordered it, the waiter said, "Be careful because this is spicy." I was like,
"Okay, cool, I'm good with that."
And he said, No, I mean, it's
Spicy.
And I said,
"Okay."
And when the dish came, guess what? It was
Spicy.
But it was super flavorful. So the heat in this dish came from not only a lot of extra garlic, but there were finely sliced chilies in the sauce. And this is sort of a recipe question that I have. Then on top of the dish, there were also dried hot pepper flakes. And for me, I just wonder, okay, do you really need to put both of those things in a dish? You can do it either way, I guess, but this tasted good. It did definitely have quite a kick, but I liked it. And both Marcus and I ate everything off of our plate, so I think that's a pretty good sign. And then our waiter did something I still can't believe, and I'm gonna tell you what it is right after this commercial break. Did you get one? What was it about? Write it in the comments below. So after we had a friendly greeting, got a great table by the window, had a fun little conversation with our waiter, he made us recommendations, we had super tasty starters, we had some really great pasta. Our waiter had the audacity to suggest that we get dessert. Can you believe that? How dare he? I had just said to Marcus, this was really good and I'm not uncomfortably full. And then of course, I totally forgot that there's also dessert. And no, we couldn't just order one dessert and split that. Of course not. We had to get 3. So we got the cheesecake, the tiramisu, and the chocolate brownie, and they were all fantastic. And it's interesting because the portions of the starters and the pasta, I would say, were very reasonable portions. I think a lot of times on cruise ships, or a lot of times when you go out to Italian restaurants in the USA, the portions are always really big. And I mean, I like to eat, but I don't like to like stuff myself, or especially if you're on vacation someplace on holiday, if you only eat half of something, then the rest of it gets thrown away if you're not staying someplace with a kitchen. And I would prefer to have a little bit of space left in my tummy when the meal is over. And if we hadn't had dessert, that is how the situation would have been at the end of this experience. But the dessert portions compared to the portions of pasta, they were relatively big, I would say. So this lemony cheesecake situation, I don't remember exactly what it was called, was a big portion. That was definitely shareable. And yeah, Marcus and I kind of shared all 3 of these desserts, and all 3 of them were also very tasty, highly recommended. Like I said, for the price, you have to remember there's already a lot of great places to get food on board. There are already great desserts up in the Windjammer buffet. If you go to the main dining room for dinner, you are gonna have some fantastic things there as well. You don't necessarily need to go to one of these special restaurants. It is a price you can save by just not going there. But when you're on a cruise ship like this for 12 days, I think, you know, eventually it gets to the point where you're like, if I see cold mango soup on the menu one more time, and so you want to try something else. And my recommendation is save a lunch for Jamie's if you want to do something else. I would do it again, and in fact, we might do it again on this trip. Before I wrap this up, if you are somebody who likes to read when you're on vacation, maybe pop open a book while you're lounging in the sun on the pool deck, then please check out my book. It's called Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship. It's filled with stories about my life and crazy true stories about things that have happened to me all around the world on my travels, like forgetting I had a knife in my bag at the airport and actually getting stitches on a cruise ship. By ordering the book, not only do you get something fun and light to read, but it's also a great way to help me out here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. So check out Getting Stitches on a Cruise Ship, available on Amazon now. What do you think? Does this food look good to you? I don't know as far as like the authenticity of it compared to real Italian food from Italy. The cuisine varies so greatly from northern Italy to southern Italy, so I'm not necessarily an expert on that, although I have had a lot of Italian food in Italy that also tasted good. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below, and I look forward to seeing you again here on the Very Unofficial Travel Guide soon. Arrivederci!